money. And remember, energy, can't be created nor destroyed. It can only transfer. So if I'm putting out this negative energy about money, then that's the kind of energy I'm going to receive. So I had to manage my thoughts better when it came to the idea of money. And it's funny because today, because I did all those years of work, I do live in an abundance of money. And now when I pay my bills, I don't have no problem with them. I don't complain anymore. I live at peace with those things because I've learned how to manage my thoughts better. So those are just specific, ideas. I could sit here and give you guys so many different examples, but just to give you guys a few that maybe could relate with you and your situation as well. So that's number two, self-management. Number three is social awareness. Third level of emotional intelligence is social awareness, which is understanding and acknowledging others' emotions. Now, this is big, very, very big, because especially for all of us that are listening to this, we all have people in our lives. We have friends, we have family members, and we're in relationships and business partners, colleagues. Every day we are interacting with people. So in my opinion, social awareness is one of the most important, levels of emotional intelligence, especially for my leaders who are listening to this call, because I want you to all know and understand this right here. Okay. Being able to manage other people's emotions is going to pay you the big money in business. Okay. It will pay you the big money because you get paid in business for the size of the problems that you can solve. And part of solving problems is understanding other people's problems, understanding the way other people feel. And over the years, I've had to learn so much when it came to the emotions of other people. Okay. Taking the time to be, number one, a great listener. Part of understanding other people is being a great listener and listening with the intention to respond, not to react. I realized that back then when I started and I was still early in the game of being a leader and an entrepreneur, I wasn't that good of a listener. I would always listen to react. I would just pick one thing that, they would say and go with that and disregard the 95% of the other things that they said. And, I wasn't just a great listener. I would interrupt as they're speaking. And I realized that part of being a good listener is just listening. Sometimes people just need someone to listen to, someone to dump it on. Tell me, talk to me, and just sit there listening intentionally. Phones down, no distractions, making eye contact. Sometimes, if you even want to, if you want to be more effective with it, even taking some notes while you're listening so that you can be able to hit specific topics and show the person that you were actually intentionally listening because you wanted to obviously provide them with the best possible solution. That's always very key, family. So, I've taken the time to really understand others' emotions, and it's key. All right. Especially because, like I said, we have business partners, we have family members, we have kids, we have significant others that we have in our lives. And, understanding their emotions, understand what gets them to click. Love languages are also very big. Knowing your other persons or your business partners or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or wife or husband's significant love language is so key. It is so key, right? Maybe you guys have read the book, The Five Love Languages by Gary Chapman. Phenomenal book for you guys to read, right? Because it'll teach you about, words of affirmations, physical touch. It'll teach you about gifts. What's the other one? Acts of service and quality time, right? So those are the five, love languages. And knowing what someone else's love language is very important because you got to know how to love that person, right? You got to know how to love that person in their love language. And that's so important, understanding that person's emotions, right? I've had to understand that. There's people that their love language is quality time. They love a quality time, a quality dinner, a quality date where phones are away and it's just you and the other person. Some other people love physical touch. They love the cuddling. They love the hugs and the kisses and so on and so forth. People love words of affirmation. You telling them positive things. You're beautiful. You look handsome today. I believe in you. I'm proud of you. People need those things. So understanding other people's love languages is part of, social awareness. Okay. Knowing how to love the people around you, business partners, listening to them, providing them with solutions, being there for them. That's super key as well. I've realized that in this journey, a lot of people sometimes are not going to be there for you as much as you want them to. So finding people that are there for you, finding people you can count on, finding people you can trust is one of the most important things that you can develop in business and in entrepreneurship. So I love social awareness because it has truly changed my life. It has helped me manage the relationships with my business partners a lot better, the relationship with my family, the relationship with my friends. Every relationship that I have in my life, I understand it a lot more now because I've taken the time to understand social awareness. Okay. I learned that, listen to this, you can only meet someone as deeply as you've met yourself. Very important. You can only meet someone as deeply as you've met yourself. What does that mean? You got to get to know you, right? Because if you know you, you can understand someone else a lot better. I can understand my leaders. I can understand my family. I can understand so many people now because I've taken the time to know Nano, right? It goes back to level one of emotional intelligence, self awareness. I know what my strengths are. I know what my weaknesses are. I know what these things are. I paid attention to them. I understand my emotions. I recognize them. So now, when I'm helping people, remember, I can't take someone where I want to take them without starting where they are. I can start where the person is because I know how they feel. I know what they're thinking. And even if I may have not gone through the same situation as the person is going through, the emotions are the same, right? Whether you're sad about something because this happened to you, and I'm sad because another thing happened to me, what we have in common is that we're both sad, right? So the emotion is the same. The situation might be different, but I know how to take someone out of a sad emotion.
All right, guys, let's get started. We are ready to go. And Grand Rising, happy Tuesday. Happy July 1st. Miss you too, fam. How is everybody doing on this beautiful Tuesday morning? First day of July, first day of the halfway point, first day. It feels good. Whenever it's the first, is always an amazing feeling because we get a chance to start something new. It feels like a fresh new start. Real quick, let me see who did their morning routine this morning thus far. Who's feeling good? Who's feeling aligned? Who's making sure that they poured into themselves this morning? Put a one in the chat box if you did your morning routine, if you made yourself a priority to start the new half, right? Because that's what we all want to do, right? We want to make sure that we start the second half of the year on the right foot, right? I just finished up on my morning routine. I'm feeling really good. It always feels good. I'm reading right now the book of Mark in the Bible, which is amazing because I'm learning so much about the book of Mark in the Bible. I'm finishing up my last chapter of the book that I'm currently reading, which is The Next Five Moves by Patrick Bet David. I'm literally on the last chapter. I just finished the last chapter, so I'm really only reading like the last 5 pages of the conclusions, and I'm done with the book. So if you guys have any good book recommendations that you really believe I should read, let me know, because I'm actually going to be buying a book today because I'm ready for my next book. Even though I have a bunch of books here that I haven't read, I feel like I'm thinking about what's going to be my next book. And I'm very intentional when I choose a book that I'm going to read. I just don't read any book, right? I got to think about the season that I'm in my life. And right now I'm in a season of expansion. I'm in a season of, stepping into hyper focus, next level version of myself. So I kind of have to find a book that's going to help me unlock that, right? What's going to help Nano unlock the next version of himself? What's going to help Nano limit distractions and focus heavily on this next phase in his life that is going to allow him to expand and get himself to the next level? So that's where I'm at. So I'm kind of figuring out, I've been doing a little bit of research. I've been asking ChatGPT, but it's funny because I asked ChatGPT that question and they gave me like five book recommendations, and all 5 books I've already read them. So I'm like, oh, ChatGPT, you must not know me. I've already read all these books. So I know that by the end of the day, at some point today, I know I will get the book that I want to read. And I'm very intentional with I've read Atomic Habits already. That was actually one of the books that it recommended me. So You Need a Budget by Jesse. Never heard of that one, actually. Never heard of that one. But I'll keep that in mind for sure. But with that being said, guys, I'm excited. I'm looking to step into this next half, this next quarter, this next month of my life very intentional. And I'm glad that I'm finishing up this book because now I get to step into some new books as well. But besides that, guys, excited. This week exactly is a launch week for me. As you guys know, just yesterday I announced that I am going to be officially launching my retreat tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific. And it's going to be a big call tonight, but I don't want to get too much into it. We'll talk a little bit more about it towards the end of the call. But let's talk about today's topic, okay? Today's topic is going to be a good one. All right, because today's topic, we're going to be talking about the halfway point, right? The halfway point. But one of the things I want to talk about is mastering the art of course correction. Mastering the art of course correction. Now, as we all know, when there's a plane, right? When a plane is on its way to a specific location, all right, there's times that it has to correct itself in order for it to get right on target to where it's going to go. It's the same with missiles, right? When a missile is launched, right, it may be times that it goes off course, but eventually inside of the missile, it has a course correction system where if it ever goes off course, it brings it back to course. Now, similar to a plane, similar to a rocket, similar to a missile, all right, we need to learn how to course correct ourselves. All right. Now, it's important that we understand this because some of us, we may be on the right course. So this training is going to be for you as well. So if you're on the right course and you're headed in the right place, well, great. I'm going to teach you how to elevate it even more and get more speed. Now, if you feel like you fell off course and you feel like you need to get back on course and you need to course correct yourself, then this training is also for you. So this training is for anybody that wants to gain more speed on the course that they're on, but this training is also for the individual that wants to get back on course, all right, so that we can get you guys right and ready to go. So I'm gonna go over the 4 ways that you can master the art of course correction during this halfway point. So put a 4 in the chat if you guys are ready to take notes, you're ready to learn today, you're ready for this intentional training. I sat down and I really thought about, all right, what am I going to train the family on this July 1st going into the second half of the year? And I was able to come up with some really good ideas, some really good points, and some really key topics that I want to make sure we cover here with you guys here today. All right. So let's jump right into point number 1. Point number 1 is reflection before redirection. All right. Reflection before redirection. Now, I'm not going to talk too big on this. I'm just going to mention it one more time here today because I'm sure that there may be some new people on today's call. But it is important that we reflect on what we've done the last 6 months. Okay, yesterday I spent some time making sure that you guys understand the importance of a evaluation that we must all do. Now, like I said, I'm not going to talk too much on it. I want to keep this point very simple and straight to the point. Let this be a reminder that if you did your reflection, you are right on you're on the right path. You're on the path to course correction. Now, if you haven't done your reflection, let this be a reminder that you need to do your reflection. Reflections are important. Listen to the point. Reflection before redirection. Now, real quick, if you did your reflection yesterday or today, put a 2 in the chat if you already did it. Like you completed it, you asked yourself the 3 questions. The 3 questions are, what did I do well in the first 6 months? What didn't I do well in the first 6 months? And what improvements am I going to make in the next 6 months? Those are the three questions that you want to ask yourself before we go into anything else, before we step in. Today is really the last day that I'm ever going to remind you guys of this. So if you don't do it today, then you missed your chance, right? We have over 70 people and growing on the call, but I only see a couple of people dropping tools in the chat. That means that a lot of us still have not done our reflections. Guys, please, please, I'm literally begging you, please make sure that you do a reflection before you start your second half of the year. Sit down. It'll take you 10 minutes, maybe less. It'll take you 10 minutes, maybe less, to just sit down and ask yourself those three simple questions. What did I do well the first 6 months? What didn't I do well the first 6 months? And what improvement am I going to make the next 6 months? If somebody can type those questions in the chat box for me, please, for anyone who's taking notes and for anyone who hasn't done it, please take advantage of it. Because understand that before you can change your plan, you need to understand where you truly are. That's the key. Before you can change the plan, before we can talk about where we're going, what we're going to do the next 6 months, we need to understand where we truly are. I've had to do it. I'm pretty sure the biggest companies in the world have already done it. You don't think Apple has already done a 6-month reflection? You don't think companies like Amazon, companies like Tesla, all companies, any successful sales organization, Patrick Bet-David, any of these people that we look up to, I'm 100% sure that all of these individuals have done individual reflections and company and industry reflections. The last question is, what improvements am I going to make the next 6 months? So I'll repeat it again. The three questions we must all ask ourselves. Very simple, very easy. What did I do well the first 6 months? Give yourself credit. Give yourself a pat on the back for the things you did well. It's important to celebrate the things that you did do well. So what did you do well the first 6 months is the first question. The second question is, what didn't I do well? All right, this is where you want to be honest and truthful with yourself. You know what you should have been doing. So be honest with yourself on what you didn't do well. And then the third question is, what improvements am I going to make the next 6 months? Now, that third question, yeah, they thinking in 2026 already, facts. So that third question is basically what you're going to start working on. That third question is what allows you to create a plan now. Because think about it, now you know what you got to improve on, which means now you know what to plan around. You got to plan around going to the gym more. You got to plan around a personal development routine. You got to plan around creating a social media strategy. You got to plan around so on and certain things, right? So point number one, like I said, I don't want to spend too much time on it because I already spent time on it yesterday. I just want to be here to give you a reminder just in case you forgot to do it. Just in case you forgot to do it, let this be the final reminder that Nano said, hey, make sure you do your reflection, because point number one is reflection before redirection. Understand, guys, my job here is to help you shift your mindset. This is not a business call. This is not a sales call. This is a mindset call. And my job here and my intention here today is to shift your mindset, is to inspire you and give you energy to go do the small little daily tasks that are going to cause the massive shifts in your business and in your life. All right. So awareness is the first step to transformation. You need reflection. You need awareness. Trust me when I tell you that. That's number one. All right. Let's go to point number two. All right. Let's go to point number two. There's a difference, and I want to talk about this. There's a difference between pivot versus persevere. There's a difference between pivoting and persevering. Let's talk about this. Pivot versus persevere. Understand that not everything needs to be abandoned. Some things just need more commitment. All right, so let's talk about this. We need to decide what needs to be pivoted in our lives right now. What do I mean by pivot? Things that aren't working right now. All right, what in our life right now needs pivot? What have you been doing that is not working for you? It could start with something as simple as the time that you're waking up. Maybe the time that you're waking up is not working for you. Maybe that book that you're reading is not the right season for that book. Maybe your social media strategy right now is not the one that's going to allow you to grow your business and attract the proper clients into your organization. All right. Maybe the time that you're going to sleep isn't working for you. Maybe the time that you're spending on social media is more wasted time than it is productive time. I want you to sit down and I want you to think of 3 to 5 things that aren't working for you right now that you need to pivot on. And when I say pivot, it means it's not working anymore, so I got to try something different. I got to work on something different. Because believe it or not, a lot of the times we keep doing things that we know are not working and we still keep doing them even though they don't bring the results. Right? There's a saying that says, insanity, the definition of insanity says it's doing the same things over and over and over again without receiving any result, without seeing any change. So if you know that you're waking up at a certain time and nothing is changing for you and it's not helping you, then make a change. If you know that reading that book right now is not the season for that book, then leave that book for another season and find the book that you need right now. If you know that your social media strategy isn't helping you attract the right people into your business, isn't helping you grow your social media the way that you're supposed to grow it, then change. If you know that that trading strategy isn't helping you, that budgeting plan, that crypto investment plan isn't helping you right now, then change it. Change it. And I can sit here one by one, and I can tell you guys many times in my life where I had to pivot. I remember throughout my journey, there was a season and there was a year that I was waking up at 9 a.m., 10 a.m., between 8 and 10 a.m. But it wasn't working for me. And let me tell you guys why it wasn't working for me. Because the problem was when I was waking up between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m., my day I went straight into my day. So I didn't have time for a morning routine. I didn't have time to spend time with Nano. So a lot of the times I would wake up at 8, 9, 10 a.m. And what would happen is I was going right into the day. I would wake up and it was right to the phone calls, right to the text messages, right to Instagram, right to answering emails. And what ended up happening was I never had time to pour into myself. So I was going into my days, pouring into others from an empty cup. And all my actions were fruitless. They weren't creating for anybody. So I had to pivot. I said, you know what? Instead of waking up at 8, 9 a.m. every day, I love sleep, which means I'm going to have to go to sleep earlier and wake up earlier. So I started instead of going to sleep after midnight, because that's what happens. I was going to sleep too late. I was going to sleep at midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 a.m. in the morning, doing nothing really. Let's call it what it is. Because if you're usually up at that time, you're not really doing much productive things at those hours. So I was going to sleep late and I was waking up late. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go to sleep earlier so I could wake up earlier. So I started to go to sleep at 10 p.m., 11 p.m. the latest. I had to be in bed by 10. So by 10, 11 p.m., I was already in bed, which allowed me now to wake up at 6 a.m., 6:30 the latest, which now allowed me to work on myself for at least anywhere from 2 to 3 hours on me. So think about this. I went from waking up at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., and getting right into my day to waking up at 6 a.m. Now I had a solid 2 to 3 hours before I usually woke up. And guess what? By the time I would usually wake up, it would feel so different for me, because it would be like, when you go from waking up at 8, 9 a.m. and now you're waking up at 6 a.m. and then you're waking up at 6, but you're doing your full routine now. You're waking up, you're doing Bible study, you're going to the gym, you're reading your books, you're writing in your journal, you're listening to your audios, and then you look at the clock and it's 8 a.m., 9 a.m., and look at all that you've done already. Before, you would have woke up at this time. Before, I was waking up at 9 a.m. Now, by 9 a.m., I've already finished my full routine. I've worked out, I've hit the sauna, I've ate breakfast, I've read my book, I spent time with the Lord, and now I'm going into my day intentional. I feel on top of the world. The energy level is different. I feel prepared. I feel good. I feel amazing. Instead of me waking up and starting my day and feeling drained by the middle of the day, now I'm fully charged, like Ricardo said in the chat. That was one pivot I had to make in my life, that I remember it like it was yesterday. It's a completely different story. Because here's the way my mentor told me. He explained it to me. He said, Neno, think about it like this. Think about a starting line in a race, right? He said, most people, they start their day. But when you wake up earlier, you sprint through the day. And it made so much sense because he said, what you were doing was you were starting your day. You would wake up and you would start the day. You would get right into working, right into trainings, right into calls and emails and social media and everything. You were starting your day. But now you started the day earlier, and now you were working on yourself, that by the time 8, 9 a.m. came around, you were already running through the day. You were ready for the day. You were charged. You were ready to go. It's a completely different energy than starting the day than when you run through the day. Trust me, that was a huge pivot I had to make. You see, if you know that right now you're starting your day, if you're on this call and you're like, Nano, right now, to be real, that's one of the pivots I got to make. That one pivot could shift everything in the rest of your life for the rest of the year. That one pivot. Instead of starting the day, sprint through the day. Wake up earlier. Make yourself a priority. Get adjusted. Yes, you're going to be tired. Yes, it sucks to wake up early. Yes to all of it. Get your body adjusted. It was hard for me, let me tell you, because I was a natural person that loved to wake up at 9 a.m. And I was now waking up at 6 a.m., which is 3 hours of difference. So in the beginning, there were days that it was hard and I needed the coffee and it was a tough battle. But guess what? Once I got through it, I would never go back. I love waking up early. I realized that the real flex is waking up early. Staying up is easy. Waking up earlier, you know what that does? It builds willpower. Waking up early and working on yourself, that is a different level of willpower. For you to wake up early to work on yourself. Because think about it. Let me ask you guys a question. When you got to wake up early for a flight, do we all wake up early and make sure that we make that flight? Put a 2 in the chat. If you wake up, when you got an early morning flight, when you got one of those 5, 6 a.m. flights, do we all wake up early? Even if we think about it. If you ever had to take a 6, 7 a.m. flight, you usually got to be up like 4:30, 5 a.m., depending on how far you are from the airport. And guess what? We wake up and we're ready to go. We're getting ready. We're packing our bags. We're making sure everything is good and we're up. And you won't be late, right, Queen B? And I won't be late. You know, I was thinking about that the other day. Because when I went to Puerto Rico, I had a flight. I had the early flight, like the 6:05 a.m. flight, which means I had to be up at like 4:30 so I could leave my house by 5, be at the airport by 5:30, by 5 and some change and whatever it is. So I could be at least at the airport an hour before. And I was like, yo, isn't it amazing how I was able to get up at 4:30? My alarm went off. I knew that I had to be at the airport. So it wasn't like I sat there and, hit the snooze button a couple times. It wasn't like I sat there and complained about being up early. I got up and I got to the airport. And it was like I was full of energy going towards the airport. And then I sat there and I'm like, yo, it's crazy how we could wake up for a flight, an early morning flight, but we won't wake up to work on ourselves. Isn't that wild when you think about it? And then it made me think about the intention. It made me think about the intention and what was at cost, like what was gonna come from this. Because think about it. The intention was I wanted to make my flight to go out to Puerto Rico. But then on top of that, I also didn't want to miss my flight because it comes with a price. If I miss my flight now, If I miss my flight, I got to rebook it. Maybe I got to pay a fee. So you got to think about that. Maybe you need to change the way that you're looking at waking up early for you, because you would wake up early for a flight. You would wake up early for a flight because you know you're going to take a flight somewhere. You know that if you miss that flight, it's going to cost you. But think about it. Not waking up early to work on yourself is going to cost you more than that flight. Let's all be honest. Not waking up early to work on you cost you more than a flight, because you could get another flight. You can't get the day back that you sleep in and not work on yourself. So let's reframe. Let's pivot. And that's just one pivot. I'm just giving you guys an example of one pivot. One pivot that I've had to make. I remember going from not reading to becoming a reader. I remember going from somebody who didn't write his goals down to writing his goals down. I remember going from somebody that didn't like to post on social media to posting consistently on social media. These were key pivots that I had to make in my life in order for me to change my life. I went from being somebody that didn't like to talk on camera to being somebody that liked to talk in front of the camera. You need to identify on this call today what is one key pivot that you need to make in your life in the next 6 months to make a massive change. Because that one pivot that you make could be the one that shifts everything for you. It could be the one that shifts everything for you. Because remember, like I said, there's a difference between pivoting and persevere. You need to pivot from the things that aren't working and then persevere. Persevere in the things that are going to help you grow. What is helping you grow? What are you doing that's helping you grow, though? If you know that getting in the gym right now is what's been helping your confidence, has been helping you stay in the gym. Let's do more of it. Right? This is key. If you know that, posting twice a day or posting on your story, whatever it is that's working, persevere at it. Keep doing more of it. But I know that right now, a lot of us need a pivot. There's a lot of things that I know for a fact that may not be working right now for you. And if you keep doing it, let me tell you guys something. If you just keep doing it, all that's going to happen is the next 6 months are going to be like the last 6 months. And if you're not happy with the first 6 months, then you should definitely be looking to pivot. If you are not satisfied with the way your first 6 months went, and you jump on this call and you hear me tell you you need to pivot, and you decide not to pivot, your next 6 months are going to be exactly like the last 6, if not worse. Because bad habits developed over time only end up worse. So let this be a wake-up call for every one of us that are on this call. Like, yo, I need to make a shift ASAP. And if you are already doing great things, persevere now. Hey, your social media strategy is working. Let's keep working at it. The books that you're reading have been working for you. Let's read more of those books. Writing down your goals has been helping you attract the right people into your business. Keep writing down that goal. Hitting the sauna, whatever it is that's been working for you, let's do more of it. I know what's been working for me. I'm going to do more of it, but I also know what I need to pivot. I'm going to do more of what's been working for me because I know what's been working for me. Nano, this, and this has been working for you. Let's double down and let's do more of that now. But I also know what isn't working for me anymore, so I'm going to pivot on that. Let's make a pivot, Nano, because this isn't working. This is what professionals do. This is what somebody that's looking to have a legendary 6 months ahead of him is doing, right? One of the things I had to pivot on was the idea of overthinking, right? The idea of overthinking, I'll use my retreat as an example. I was overthinking my retreat. I'm like, yo, I need this, I need that, I need to have everything perfect. And then something told me, Nano, Just commit. Figure the rest out later. Just commit. I had to pivot that mindset, the mindset of being the perfectionist, of having everything right. And then guess what? I just took action on it. I just took action on the idea of the retreat. And look, I come on here saying this vulnerably that sometimes my perfectionism of wanting everything to be perfect stopped me for so long from taking action on something that I've been wanting to do. How many of us currently right now have not taken action on specific things in our lives because we want everything to be perfect? We want everything to be at the right time. We want everything to look exactly how we're supposed to. And it's not always going to be like that. And I realized that after month after month, things still didn't look perfect. So I'm like, you know what? It was hard. Let me tell you, especially for somebody like me, it was hard because it was like, all right, you know what? Just jump in. Just jump in. That's it. Go. And I did it. And now I'm looking at myself and I'm like, Nano, all these months you could have did this, but you held yourself back for all these months because you wanted it to be perfect. You wanted it to be this. You wanted it to be that and this and this and that. And I'm like, you spent all these months of wasted time. And I'm come on. And look, I share that with you guys because I want you guys to know that I also go through some of the same things as well. You know, because you want to be able to provide the best experience and everything. But you know what happened? The moment I committed, everything fell into place for me. Everything fell into place for me. The moment I committed, everything fell into place. I found the location. It's so funny that the moment I committed, I found the person that was willing to help me design the retreat. She reached out to me. She reached out to me. Crazy. After I committed, she reached out to me. She said, "Hey, I saw your comment on one of the Instagram posts. Are you still looking for somebody to help you with your retreat?" And I'm like, "Yes, I am actually." And here's the thing. Let me tell you guys something. Look at the story about this. I was a little bit hesitant to do the retreat, right? And I was a little bit hesitant. And while I was hesitant, I had made phone calls to the retreat place, and I had gotten no answer. So I booked the Calendly with the person to do a consultation. Both times that we were supposed to do the consultation, the person canceled. This was when I was in that hesitant energy. I was in a very hesitant energy. Notice how whatever energy you're on, look at what I was attracting. People rebooking, not showing up for the meetings. And then I said, yo, you know what? Let me change my energy. I needed to change my energy. I had to change my energy. I said, all right, I'm committing to this 100%. That's it. I'm going to commit to this. I don't know how, but I need to commit. Stop with this halfway in, halfway out energy, Nano. Stop with this rejection. Things are not going to work out in your favor energy. Let's go all in and it's all going to work out. I make the decision. Yo, I'm doing the retreat. I call Jasmine. Yo, we're doing the retreat. That's it. It's in November. I didn't know how. I'm like, yo, sis, I don't know how we're going to do it. This was like a month ago. I was like, I don't know how we're going to do it. I don't know how we're going to find the location, but I need to commit. That's it. I need to live by what I always say, which is commit first, figure the rest out later. Boom, I committed. 2 days later, this girl reaches out to me because she works for the retreat center. I had commented on a picture weeks ago, back when I was in that halfway in, halfway out. She's like, hey, are you still interested in doing a retreat? I'm like, yes, I am. Can we jump on a call? She jumps on a call. I tell her the story about, yo, you know, I had booked 2 consultations. She's like, yeah, the thing was that the person that you reached out to, she's no longer going to be working here because she's moving somewhere else. So that's why she probably rescheduled. I'm like, that makes sense. Boom. She books me. She helps me out. She says, okay, let's talk about it. What do you want to do? Next thing you know, she sets up the whole retreat for me, helps me organize everything. We put a deposit down and look, now we're launching July 1st. And I only share that with you guys because this is the most recent time that I had to make a decision that I was so hesitant on for so long that now that I've made the decision, I look back and realize, why did I hesitate for so long? Why did I hesitate for so long? Why didn't I just do this? Now, obviously, I trust God's timing, and that's how I give myself grace. No, it happened when it was supposed to happen. And yes, I understand that, and I get that. All right. But I'm here to tell you guys on this call, there may be something right now in your life that you're hesitating on, whether it's an investment, a book, a business opportunity, an idea. Take action on it. You're never going to know how. Don't let the how stop you from taking action on it, because that's sometimes what allows us. All right. That's sometimes what allows us to take the action necessary. So remember, pivot versus persevere. I'm excited. Look, I took action on it. We have over 120 people who are interested in it. I have people ready to make deposits today for this retreat. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to be able to accommodate everybody that wants to come, because I only have 12 to 15 spots, but we have over 130 plus people interested. No, look, now the problem that I thought was going to be like, yo, am I going to be able to get it? Now I have a problem where I don't even know how I'm going to accommodate everybody. Think about that. Think about this now. It went from, yo, is anybody going to come? Am I going to find the right location? To now I have more than enough people, and now I have a beautiful location. Think about this, guys. It could be the same way for you. So that's point number 2. All right, pivot versus persevere. Point number 3 is realign your daily standards. Realign your daily standards. What do I mean by that? Every single one of us, we need to take an audit of our routines, our environments, and our influences. Audit. Take a look at your routine. How's it been? Right? Take a look at your environment. What does it look like? Take a look at the people that you're spending time with. Who are they? It's time to audit your life real quick. What is your daily routine like? You see, there's power in waking up at the same time every day. There's power in following a specific routine. If one day you wake up at one time, the next day you're waking up at another time, the next day, that's not going to work. What is your daily routine like? Audit it. Find the holes in your routine. Are you spending too much time social media scrolling? Do you spend too much time talking to other friends and families? Are you being active or are you being productive? What time are you spending dedicating to skill development? Right? It's time to audit these things. Audit your daily routine. What does your daily routine look like? At the end of the day, I want you to backtrack your day. From the moment you woke up to the moment you fell asleep, what was your day like? Can you break it down? What time did you wake up? What did you do when you woke up? Okay, what kind? Did you listen to the podcast while you were in the car, or did you listen to music while you were in the car? Check your screen time. How much time are you spending on your screen on a day-to-day basis? Pay attention to where your attention is going. Right? If you go on your phone and if you go in your settings and you check screen time, your screen time will tell you exactly where your attention is going on your phone. It'll tell you what app you first opened the moment that you open the phone. It'll tell you how much hours you're spending on each app and everything. It'll tell you everything. Audit those things, guys. Remember, the first step to transformation is awareness. You need to become aware. There's things that are stealing your attention. I remember opening my phone once and I was scared to open my screen time. I look at my screen time and I'm like, damn, bro, I'm spending 8 hours a day on my phone. And at the time, 3 of those hours were going towards Instagram. And I'm like, yo, I'm spending 3 hours a day on Instagram. Now, yes, obviously I build a business and, I'm always answering messages and all of that. But I was like 3 hours on Instagram. It's insane, low key. So I looked at it and I'm like, and I started to do the math. I'm like, okay, 3 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's 21 hours a week that I'm spending on Instagram. I multiply that by four weeks in a month. I'm spending over 84 hours a month on Instagram. 84. Now I'm looking at it and I'm like, how much has Instagram paid me this month? Barely any money. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, yo, I'm spending 80 plus hours a week on this app and it's not paying me. It's barely paying me. What am I doing here? I ended up going now on Instagram. And you know how there's this feature where you can actually set timers that after you reach a certain time, it basically turns off the app. It basically blocks you from going in the app. I had to do that with my Instagram. I put it where my Instagram, once I reached an hour of being on Instagram, it turned off the app. It basically it blanked the app until the next day. Because I wanted to spend more time being productive. I had to make that shift. Right? This is important that we all understand this. You need to find areas in your life that are stealing your attention in your daily routine and turn it into productive hours. Right now, if you guys were to look into your days, you would find so many times, you would find so many hours that are being spent, being thrown away, doing nothing productive that you could then turn into productive hours. I'm like, yo, instead of me spending 3 hours on Instagram, let me take only 1 hour on Instagram and let me spend 2 hours doing something productive. Instead of me listening to music while in the car, let me turn my car into an audio. Let me listen to audios and podcasts while I'm in the car. Right? There's so many more things I could be doing. Instead of me spending money eating out, why don't I buy groceries and eat healthier at home? Even though it'll take me a little bit more time, I'd rather eat healthier at home because it'll help my body optimize itself and be able to have more energy. Started to think about these things. Okay, how can I be productive here, productive here, productive here, productive there? It changed everything for me. The power of auditing your daily routine. Another thing, audit your environment. Look around. Look at your environment. I love a clean environment. If you have a cluttered environment, then you know what you should do? Sit back and take 2 hours a day and clean your whole environment. If you don't want to clean it, pay somebody to clean it. You can pay somebody to clean your environment. It'll cost you anywhere, depending on how big your apartment is or where you live, anywhere from $100 to $200. Or you do it yourself. Clean up your environment, clean it up, shift some things around. Go into your office nearby and print out a couple pictures. Print out pictures of the places you want to travel to, print out pictures of the income you want to earn, the house you want to live in, the car you want to drive. Paste it in certain places in your house. Fill your environment and put your environment as a vision board. You know what you should also audit? Your friends, the people you're spending the most time with. My mentor once told me, said, you are an average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Who are you spending time with? You want to keep track of this stuff. Who do I talk to the most? Think about it. Who do you talk to the most on a day-to-day basis? And obviously, I'm not telling you guys to stop talking to your parents, because I talk to my parents every day. I don't include my parents. My parents are my close confidants. They're my parents. I'm not ever going to stop talking to my parents. But other people, who else do you talk to? You're an average of those 5 people that you talk to the most. What are their habits like? What's their influence over your life? What are you doing? Who are you spending time with? And if you're not talking to people, then start to develop a circle of people that you want to talk to that has great influence over you. That's going to give you great information. I remember being around the wrong people for long periods of time. People that just wanted to smoke, that just wanted to drink, that just wanted to talk to girls, that just wanted to gossip, that just wanted to talk about the next thing. Those things never helped me. I had to change my circle. I had to change my circle. You may have to change yours as well. Some of you are spending too much time with people that are holding you back. I know people who have quit my business because of the people around them. Because the people around them told them, you're not really going to build that business, right? But they're broke. It's the saddest part about it. They're broke. They have no direction in life. And I've had people in my life that had big potential to do some amazing things, but today they're stuck in life because they listened to somebody that didn't have the results that they want. It's sad to see. And I've seen it so many times. I've seen it so many times. The people you spend time with, the people that have influence over you play such a huge part in your success. Wake up. Who are you listening to? This is so key. It's funny, Ricardo, because I was gonna say that quote. My mentor once told me this quote. He said, Neno, you spend 3 hours with people. He says you spend 3 hours with people that you should be only spending 30 minutes with. And then you spend 30 minutes with people that you should be spending 3 hours with. I remember when he told me that. Those words always stuck with me, man. Because it was true. I was spending 3 hours with negative friends and people that in reality I should have only been spending 30 minutes with. And then the people that I should have been spending the time with, my mentors, the people that have money, the people that were successful, all those people, I was only spending 30 minutes with them, but I should have really been spending 3 hours with them. Big wake-up call for me. Big wake-up call. Something to think about, right? So realign your daily standards. Realign them. Last point, number 4. And we'll end it right here. Point number 4 is commit to new non-negotiables. What are your non-negotiables moving forward? For the next 6 months, what are going to be your 3 to 5 non-negotiables? Nano, what do you mean by non-negotiables? You got to do them every day. For example, let me give you guys some examples of some non-negotiables. Showering is a non-negotiable for most of us at this point in our lives. We shower every day. Eating is a non-negotiable. Brushing our teeth is a non-negotiable. Put a 3 in the chat if you can agree that those 3 are non-negotiables for you, at least on a day-to-day basis. Unless you're fasting, all 3 of those are non-negotiables for us. Showering, brushing our teeth, and eating, those are 3 non-negotiables that every day, Monday through Sunday, we do them no matter what. That is what a non-negotiable is. We do it no matter what. Now, obviously, those are 3 non-negotiables that we do. Now, I want you to think about 3 non-negotiables for your habits that are going to help you become better over the next 3 months, over the next 6 months. What are 3 non-negotiables, 3 to 5 non-negotiables that you're going to work on these next 6 months? Give me one in the chat. Let me see. What's one non-negotiable that you have to do every single day from this day moving forward? What are 3 non-negotiables that you guys are all going to commit to for the next 6 months? Give me one at least. What's the one big one that you're, just like you brush your teeth every day, just like you shower every day, just like you eat every day? What is going to be at least one non-negotiable that you're going to focus on every single day? Let me see. Read my Bible. That's a really good one. Meditation, reading, journaling, swimming, a night routine. Read the Bible. Visualization, Ricardo, very key. Never hitting the snooze button. Work out 4 to 5 times a week. Clean your environment, absolutely. Pray every day. Meditation, working out. Buy $10 of Bitcoin a day. Smart guy. Yoga, listening to audios, running, night routine instead of scrolling, absolutely. Apply what I read. Kita, I love that. Dream building, vision boards. Pray, meditate, read, workout. Writing down my vision and thoughts. Learn something new every day. Spend time with yourself. This is important. This is important. Sit down with yourself. I've already given you guys a couple of things to do today, but sit down with yourself today and tell yourself, you know what? I'm going to do these. These are my 3 to 5 non-negotiables. This is what I'm going to do every day. Every single day, I'm going to do this now. I got to work on this. This is important, guys. I'm telling you, when you guys start doing this, you guys are going to realize, you guys are going to be like, man, once you start doing these non-negotiables, your whole lives are going to shift. They're going to shift. And the only way that you guys are going to be able to shift your lives is if you commit. You got to commit to the non-negotiables. Once you commit to the non-negotiables, forget about it. Everything else will take care of itself, but you got to commit to the non-negotiables. So those are the 4 ways for you to master the art of course correction. Number 1 is reflection before redirection. Number 2 is pivot versus persevere. Number 3 is realign your daily standards. And number 4, commit to new non-negotiables. Commit to new non-negotiables. The rest will take care of itself. All right, guys. So that is my training for today. Put a 444 in the chat if you guys got value from today's training. As I said, guys, earlier, tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time, it is the official launch of the first ever Mornings with Nano retreat, which is called the Solstice Retreat. The purpose behind the Solstice Retreat is where endings, there's also new beginnings. I decided to do it at the end of the year for specific purpose. All right. I want to be able to help you guys reflect, renew, and rebirth yourself while you're out there. If you're here today, and even if you're not going to be able to make it, I still want you to be on the call, because I'm going to do more than one in 2026. So if you can't make it till November, you can make it for the ones that I'm going to do in 2026. I plan on doing 2 to 3 in 2026. So if you can't make it to this one, then you'll be able to make it to the rest of them. But I'm going to be doing more retreats every single year moving forward. Once we do the first one opens the door, and then the rest is going to go from there. Now, if you haven't joined the chat, all right, I just put the link. I just put the Telegram chat. That's where I'm going to be dropping the link for the call tonight, and all the information, the job forms, everything that is going to be happening is going to be there. And it's going to be live on Zoom tonight at 7 o'clock. Now, if you're on Instagram and you want to join the chat, just go in my bio, in my chat that's in my bio. I dropped the link in there as well. Please make sure that you're on the call. I cannot wait for you guys to see what's about to happen and exactly everything that we're going to be doing at this place. You guys are going to be mind blown when you guys see exactly what's going to happen at this retreat at the end of the year. All right. It's going to be happening in November. It's going to be extremely intentional. And whoever is on that call, you're going to be shifted on that call, because you're going to see the importance of retreats. My life changed because of a lot of retreats. I've been to many retreats in my life. And I always had a dream of doing my own retreat where I can create the same experience that was created for me back in the years. I want to be able to create that for other people. And if it wasn't for those retreats that shifted my mindset, that connected me with the right people, that helped me find themselves, I don't know if I would be in the position that I'm in today. So I want to create that same experience for every single one of you guys that are on this call. But like I said, I only have a small amount of spots available. And there's hundreds of people already interested in this. All right. So there's going to be a selection process on how we do it. But just know that if you can't make the first one, there's going to be a second one, and there's going to be a third one, and there's going to be a fourth one. But I would love for you guys all to be there, even if it's just to support and be on the call to learn more about this retreat that I'm going to be throwing. All right. So that's going to be tonight at 7 o'clock. I'm very excited about it. Thank you guys so much for hopping on today's call. This is a long time waiting. Today is a beautiful day. It's a launch day, and I'm excited for everything that's coming. All right, guys. So with that being said, that wraps up today's call. Thank you guys so much for hopping on. Quick little prayer, and let's just pray that God opens up a lot of doors for us in this month of July. Quick prayer, let's bow our heads. Father God, we just want to say thank you so much for waking us up on this beautiful July 1st. The energy feels so clear. We feel so blessed and so grateful. Thank you for your grace. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your protection. God, this month that we ask that you fill us up with all the strength that we need to go out there and do the things that make us uncomfortable. We ask, Father, that you wash us clean of anything that wasn't serving us prior to all of this. We want to step into this new month filled with your grace, Father, filled with your abundance, filled with your love, filled with everything that is reflection of you, Father. And we are so excited to continue to build the kingdom, so excited to continue to follow you, and so excited to continue to be the example that we want to see in the rest of the world. So thank you for your guidance. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for being there for us. We have so much gratitude in our hearts for everything that you're doing for us. And we know that you have so much even more for us on the other side. So we're going to keep working. We're going to keep leading by example. And we just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for it all. You get all the praise and all the glory. We love you and we appreciate you. In God's name we pray. Amen, amen, amen. All right. All right, guys. So we're all good there. Quick prayer. And looking forward to today's call. If you want access to the link, again, here it is. This is the link to the Telegram chat. I just put it in the chat. You can also find it in my story on my Instagram. You can find it in the chat. It's all over the place. I'll be dropping updates throughout the day to let you guys know. Turn your notifications on. And once the call goes live, I'm telling you, it's going to be a phenomenal call. So I'm really, really looking forward to tonight's call. 7 o'clock Eastern, put your alarms. Do not miss the call. But there also will be a recording just in case. All right. So love y'all. Appreciate y'all. See you guys on the call tonight, 7 o'clock. Let's work. Thank you, fam.